It's now time for the Morning Watch with Reverend Dr. Dylan Toussaint. Speaking of the Morning Watch, today is sponsored by Holt's Hardware and Supplies, the leader in electrical building and everything for the home.
Holt's Hardware and Supplies for electrical, plumbing, and building items at low prices. Everything you need for the home. Rugs, decorative curtain rods, sheet set, picture frames, indoor and outdoor lights, and more. That's Holt's Hardware, St. John's Road between Ebony and Royal Place, Spanish Town, St. Catherine. Telephone 876-648-7166 or 876-648-7017. Holt's Hardware, the leader in electrical and building supplies.
Listeners to Love 101 FM are advised that the views and opinions expressed in this program are not necessarily those of Love 101 FM.
Hello and welcome to the Morning Watch on Love 101 FM. I'm your host, Dylan Toussaint. A special welcome to our listeners on love101.org, and if you're overseas and on the move, U.S. listeners can access us at 712-832-8001. And if you're in the UK, 0330-332-6541. Or join us via the Love 101 FM app that can be downloaded from the Google Play Store or the Apple Store. You can also join us on Love 101 FM Facebook and YouTube Live. In the first watch today, can we really design job descriptions for elected representatives? And in the second watch, COVID still a keep? Really? For our social media question, we ask, what would be one of the conditions you would include in the job description for elected representatives? We're asking you to share your responses on our Love 101 FM Facebook page and the YouTube channel, and also on WhatsApp 876-997-3125 using the hashtag The Morning Watch. We'll share your responses later on in the program, but before all of that, here's I quote.
Good morning, good morning. So, today's I quote is an island quote, and it says, when Maga planting want for dead, him shoot. This means after a planting tree shoots and bears a bunch of familiar fruit, it has ended its useful life and dies thereafter. When we are no longer concerned about the safety of our person, the preservation of our good character or job or family, we are apt to behave stupidly.
Good morning, Jukan.
Good morning. How are you?
That's a mouthful there.
Definitely a mouthful.
Yeah, so that quote again for me.
When Maga planting want for dead, him shoot.
How would you say that in the King's English?
All right. When a slim planting desires to be deceased, he shoots.
Good try.
No problem.
All right, the first one to be back after this break.
Breast cancer is real. Cervical cancer is real. Heart attack and stroke are real. And so are pregnancy complications. As a woman, if you are hit with one of these critical illnesses or complications, your whole life can be turned upside down. Total Women Insurance Plan gives you real insurance protection for up to 15 major critical illnesses, life insurance, and other benefits, including free cancer screening. Get serious about your coverage. Get real protection with Total Women Insurance Plan from Sagicor Life.
We can light up your world, raise up the sun. Your energy in the palm of your hand.
For over 20 years, Fosrich has been putting a world of energy in your hands. Now we bring you big savings with our line of solar energy products and LED lighting. Financing now available for all your home and commercial retrofit projects. Consult with our in-house staff or certified professional engineers for all your electrical needs. Fosrich Lifestyle. It's electric. Fosrich, your energy world.
Educom does it again with the mega car loan sale. 100% financing, interest rate of 6.95% and up to 10 years to repay. Hurry now and visit any of our 9 branches. Call Educom at 876-926-6973 or WhatsApp 876-559-7575 for more info. Educom Cooperative Credit Union Limited. Value through service.
You work hard to make Jamaica a first-class destination. Isn't it time you receive the 5-star benefits? Retire smarter with the Tourism Workers Pension Scheme, a portable plan that also provides your family with financial security in case of your untimely death. It's easy, affordable, and accessible online. Retire and relax with the Tourism Workers Pension Scheme. Visit twps.myguardiangroup.com or call 876-927-4105. Guardian Life. Live secure. Live easy.
This week on The Rock, we'll look at the miracles that all have to do with water, like Jesus turning water to wine and Jesus walking on water. Tuesday, June 13 on The Rock, join host Bishop Harold Steve Blair and guest Reverend Christopher Broadburn as they discuss the topic Miracles of the Bible, Water Wonders. That's The Rock, Tuesday, June 13 at 10 a.m. here on the family station Love 101, celebrating 30 years of music, family, and love.
Get ready for another inspiring show this Testimony Tuesday inside Alive 1 to 5 June 13, packed with inspirational stories and Alan David music. 1:45, we bring you the Ring Synchronized Listener's Big Edition. Stick around for prayer blast at 2 o'clock as we ring in the prayer bells of heaven. 2:15 inside the evidence, we share with you another powerhouse testimony boasting about the power of God. Then at 3 p.m. we go behind the pulpit with pastor and counselor of the Word of His Grace Christian Fellowship Healing Center, Pastor Ainsworth Stewart. All this and more will come alive 1 p.m. to 5 p.m. June 13 with me, Sarah, and the Chirpy One on the family station Love 101, celebrating 30 years of music, family, and love.
Welcome back to the Morning Watch. Thanks for staying with us. I'm your host, Dylan Toussaint. Now, reportedly, there are plans to review job descriptions and a code of conduct for ministers, parliamentarians, and other members of parliament. For some time, various groups and individuals have been calling for such a move. And to those entities, it is a welcomed development. However, on the other hand, there are those who say it is an impossible task. So, will it happen? And is it really an impossibility? Well, to discuss these matters, we have joining us Ms. Jeanette Calder, Executive Director of the Jamaica Accountability Meter Portal, JAMP, and Mr. Robert Pickersgill, former PNP Chairman and retired Member of Parliament for St. Catherine Northwestern. Good morning to you both.
Morning. Good morning, Sir Pickers. Good morning to you, listeners.
Morning. Good to have you both with us. Let me begin with you, Mr. Pickersgill. According to a June 7th Gleaner article entitled Impossible Task, you are of the view that it will be impossible to provide job descriptions for elected representatives. Do you still believe that? And on what basis?
I beg your pardon. I still believe it, and I must tell you that I am enthusiastically looking forward to see this description. Because I really don't know how they're going to do it.
Oh?
Having right. Your job description is quite easy. I didn't quite hear your name. Yeah, I gather you're a pastor.
Yes. Toussaint is the surname. Yes.
So then your job description is easy. You have to go forth in the world and preach the gospel until thy kingdom come. That's easy. Yeah. And now Miss Calder. Miss Calder.
Yes, sir.
What's your job description?
You're asking me what is the MP's job description?
No, yours. I don't have any job. I don't have a job description. For my 30 years in Parliament, I never had one. And when I entered it, there was not one. And this topic is a very old topic. It started, let me just remind both of you. It started with the Ashenine report in 1973. And when I made that speech, that was 47 years ago, is about whatever it is now. Followed by the Statter Review in 81 and the Fletcher Review in 89. It has been going on for years. And you know, Pastor.
Yes.
Let me just say this to you. In 1945, it came up in Parliament from the late Mr. Harold Allen, where they were getting 500 pounds per year. And I think the governor said it should be increased to 550 pounds, a 37.5% increase. But it did not meet with the universal acclaim. The resolution was seconded by Alexander Bustamante, but it did not meet with the universal acclaim of the independent member, the Reverend Reginald Phillips from Clarendon. And Reverend, I want to hear this. Clarendon Northeastern informed the House that as much as he was grateful to the government for having granted the increase, his conscience would not allow him to support it. Question, will it bear out the promise we made at election time? Will it help to heighten the confidence of the public in us? I, for my part, would welcome £1,000 a year in addition, but I would have to see a horn of plenty.
Yes, Mr. Pickersgill.
Yes.
I'm so sorry. Yeah, hold that thought right there. I want to bring in Miss Calder before the break. So we get back to you on that. Miss Calder, your opening thoughts?
I can't think of a more important job on the island than that of the Member of Parliament. I think every business, every dream, every plan that everybody has hangs on the capacity of the government to deliver the goods and services to support it. Now, that being the case, we hold that thought. The next thought I have is, and this is not a statement of disrespect for anybody who does a fair day's work for a fair day's pay, but there are many jobs that are very uncomplicated, though we certainly depend on them. Now, take, for instance, a person who's at a gas attendant.
Okay, Calder, we're up on that break right now. Hold that thought, please. We'll be right back.
part in helping us become rock solid and ready. For more information on the National Natural Disaster Risk Financing Policy, visit mof.gov.jm. The time by the Ministry of Finance and the Public Service is
7:15.
This week on The Rock, we'll look at the miracles that all have to do with water, like Jesus turning water to wine and Jesus walking on water. Tuesday, June 13 on The Rock, join host Bishop Harold Steve Blair and guest Reverend Christopher Broadburn as they discuss the topic Miracles of the Bible, Water Wonders. That's The Rock, Tuesday, June 13 at 10 a.m. here on the family station Love 101, celebrating 30 years of music, family, and love.
Get ready for another inspiring show this Testimony Tuesday inside Alive, 1 to 5, June 13, packed with inspirational stories and Alan David music. 1:45, we bring you the greatest in winter size, Listener's Big Edition. Stick around for Prayer Blast at 2 o'clock as we ring in the prayer bells of heaven. 2:15 inside the evidence, we share with you another powerhouse testimony boasting about the power of God. Then at 3 p.m. we go behind the pulpit with pastor and counselor of the Word of His Grace Christian Fellowship Healing Center, Pastor Ainsworth Stewart. All this and more will come alive 1 p.m. to 5 p.m. June 13 with me, Sarah, and the Chirpy One on the family station Love 101, celebrating 30 years of music, family, and love.
They're full of life. You're full of love. They're carefree. You care more. That's why we created Child Protector, a critical illness insurance plan from Sagicor Life. It provides coverage for your child in the event of 15 critical illnesses, hospitalization benefits, life insurance, and investment benefits. So make sure your child can live life to the fullest. Apply for Sagicor Child Protector today.
Holt Hardware and Supplies for electrical, plumbing, and building items at low prices. Everything you need for the home. Rugs, decorative curtain rods, sheet set, picture frames, indoor and outdoor lights, and more. That's Holt's Hardware, St. John's Road between Ebony and Royal Place, Banishtown, St. Catherine. Telephone 876-648-7166 or 876-648-7017. Holt's Hardware, the leader in electrical and building supplies.
Here's why you can't afford to miss the Morning Watch.
I love listening to the Morning Watch because topics are discussed and issues are highlighted that are of major importance, which in turn edify me.
The Morning Watch, Tuesdays, Wednesdays, and Thursdays.
I like listening to the Morning Watch. I find it very informative. I find it very interesting. The topics that are covered are very, very wide.
The Morning Watch, thought-provoking, insightful, current. Listen for the probing questions with Attorney at Law Stokely Marshall and the in-depth discussion with Reverend Dr. Dallin Toussaint. On Thursdays, the Morning Watch is brought to you by Educom Cooperative Credit Union, providing value through service, and Bashco, the store that gives you more. The Morning Watch, Tuesdays, Wednesdays, and Thursdays. The Morning Watch is on the family station Love 101.
Rise with the sun and face the day with some Lasco instant chocolate. Pull a pack, stir it up. Hot or cold, enjoy the chocolatey goodness any time of the day and unleash instant smiles, instant happiness.
Welcome back to the Morning Watch. Thanks for staying with us. I'm your host, Dylan Toussaint, and in this the first watch, we have been discussing the question, can we really design job descriptions for elected representatives? And so doing, we have online Mr. Robert Pickersgill, former PNP chairman and former MP for Northwestern St. Catherine, as well as Ms. Jeanette Calder, executive director of JAMP. Before the break, Ms. Calder, you're telling us about your views on the matter. Go ahead, please.
Right. Well, I really should have started by saying yes. I believe I'm not in agreement with Mr. Pickersgill that job descriptions can't be provided. I'm also more convinced that it can't because JAMP is no longer advocating for it in a vacuum. We have had a prime minister that has indicated that it is ready and has been ready since 2021. So I want to believe that that is possible. What we're waiting for them is to table it. So I guess what Mr. Pickersgill is saying, he's not quite sure of the quality or how effective it would be. Fine, that can be discussed when we take a look at it as to how good a job did it do. But I'm of the view that no matter how challenging it might be to provide a job description for an MP, the job of a member of parliament, in my view, is the most important job. There's no doctor who's going to do a good job. There's no teacher. There's no oncologist. There's no neurosurgeon. There's nobody in business who can do a good job without depending on good public services. So for me, it makes the ones who are making the decisions about the quality of the goods and services, how much we get, quantity, and the coverage, the most important. Now, it isn't that this hasn't been tried. We do have the Stone report. I haven't seen the others that Mr. Pickersgill mentioned, but the Stone report is one of the most recent reports that was commissioned by the government to look at the matter of how Parliament functions and how to improve its effectiveness. And so naturally, if you're going to look at those things, Dylan, you have to look at a job description. What do they do? You know, how does an MP know what to go in and do? They have been doing for 60 years. So what is guiding the member of parliament if there is no clarity at all? Of course, there's clarity. I don't think they're in there doing nothing. And I certainly don't think that Jamaica has fallen off the face of the earth. So they're doing work. What we are saying is take a look at what you are doing, write it down, see how best you can describe it and put it in a structure, like everybody who get up to work and go to work this morning. Where I think, however, Dylan, that a mistake is being made, I've heard it by senior journalists, I've heard it said by persons even in the House, is that we have been focused almost solely on the matter of the work the MP does in the constituency. That is a little bit more difficult, but I don't believe that's where the focus should be, one. And there's another side of the work of the parliamentarian that I think is actually even more important than that one, and it's actually the work in the parliament. They are, Mr. Pickersgill was not called a member of constituencies, you know. He was a member of parliament, which is giving us a clue as to where the focus is supposed to be. I'm going to wrap up this thought by saying this, and I can unpack why in a little bit. The parliamentarian, if allowed, for example, in England, the parliamentarian in the UK, where our system is based, is not so focused on the things that our parliamentarians are now focused on. The things that's draining their energy and redirecting them from what's more important is having citizens and constituents who are constantly in need of their help, contacting them, calling them, and demanding much of their time. So of course they don't have anything left to do what is more important and beneficial to the country. I believe that the system has to be structured and set up to release the councillors to take on more of that work, not in its entirety, but much more than the MP are doing now. They need to release that to the councillor and focus on what will really change the lives of the constituents in a sustainable way, by the work, the program, the projects, the way funds are, resourced in the parliament. If they get then we have less to do in the constituency. That's my opinion.
Jeanette, gotcha. Mr. Pickersgill, sounds reasonable, doesn't it? What? Doesn't it sound reasonable, what Miss Calder said a while ago?
Sounds reasonable to you, eh? Well,
I'm asking.
No. Before I comment on the reasonableness or otherwise of what Miss Calder said, you stopped me, or rather the program was stopped when I said that in 1945, brought something. MPs were being paid £400 a year, and the proposal was to increase it to 550 per year. And the motion was seconded by Alexander Bustamante. But an independent member, a man of the cloth like your good self, Reverend Reginald Phillips from Clarendon, Northeastern, informed the House that as much as he was grateful to the government for having granted the increase, his conscience would not allow him to support it. Question he asked, will it bear out the promise we made at election time? Will it help to heighten the confidence of the public in us? I, for my part, would welcome £1,000 a year in addition, but I would have to see a horn of plenty. And it is for that reason I fear the repercussion may be against us later on. He warned. Alexander Bustamante was not swayed by the utterances of the Reverend Mr. Phillips. That member, he said, reminded him of the person who said that thou dost not need gold nor silver, end of quote. But at the same time, he hands out the collection plate.
Remember, those people are really focusing on the job description and not the salary increase.
Well, you don't see the relevance. I'm giving you the history of the thing. The time.
We don't have much time. That's right.
The time does come, in my opinion, Mr. Speaker, for us, as it is said, take the bull by the horn. And I don't know. By the way, Rev, have you read my speech that I made in 2020 that has been making rounds?
Yeah, yes, segments of it. Yes, segments of it.
So you read the part which it says, when a country seeks a politician, they often want the strength of an eagle, the grace of a swan, the gentleness of a dove, the friendliness of a sparrow, and the night owls of an owl. And when they catch that bird, they expect him to live on the food of a canary. And I can't put it any better than that. And that was said years ago. I said it before, and I'm really looking forward to it. And I'm not trying to be sarcastic. But I would like to see that job description. And I can understand the Prime Minister said he has it now so long. When I made the speech in 2020, and what I just heard a while ago is that he had it from 2021.
Yeah.
And in that speech, I recommended that we in the Parliament, unlike anybody else, we had no union representing us, none. And at the end of it, I said what our union should be from both sides. And I even said that the head of the union should be the Prime Minister and the General Secretary should be the Minister of Finance. So when I was saying all of those things, and I never knew that he had something like that. I never knew.
But can I give some examples?
So we had it ready. But we have 1 minute to go. Ms. Calder, any closing words?
Well, let me just give you an example. When the budget is made and approved by the Parliament, right? It's the same Parliament now that has a responsibility for the next 12 months to monitor how the wishes of the parliamentarians, which is the extension of the people, how it is being implemented in the government. The Parliament decides where the money is going to flow. They made the laws that determine how it's going to be used and by which institution. So the next 12 months are supposed to be spent, Dylan, with the different committees of the Parliament, ensuring that government is meeting the needs, spending it correctly according to the laws, the procurement laws, all kind of things. That is the engine that will make sure that Jamaica gets value for money. That engine currently, Dylan, is dysfunctional, right? And has been for a long time. And the reason we as the people in turn cannot monitor those that we hired through an election is because we don't have a job description. New MPs going in and what they do, they pattern what the older veterans are doing. So the job description can be done because they are working. I am just saying that the parliament is still dysfunctional, and part of the reason is if I went to work today and I didn't know what is expected of me, how well can I perform even if I'm interested and motivated? Right? So that's my position.
So sorry, Jeanette, we're out of time. Mr. Pickersgill, Ms. Calder, thank you so very much for joining us this morning. The discussion will continue, no doubt. Have a productive day and a safe day.
Thank you very much, sir.
Listeners, the Morning Watch will return in just a moment.
JAMP Small Business Loans. Tell us your business and let's turn your ambitions into reality. The time by JAMP Small Business Loans is
7:30 and a half.
Here's why you can't afford to miss the Morning Watch.
I love listening to the Morning Watch because topics are discussed and issues are highlighted that are of major importance, which in turn edify me.
The Morning Watch, Tuesdays, Wednesdays, and Thursdays.
I like listening to the Morning Watch. I find it very informative. I find it very interesting. The topics that are covered are very, very wide.
The Morning Watch, thought-provoking, insightful, current. Listen for the probing questions with attorney at law Stokely Marshall and the in-depth discussion with Reverend Dr. Dallin Toussaint. Every Wednesday, the Morning Watch is brought to you by Chris and Charles. When you think loans, think Chris and Charles. Every first and third Wednesday, the Morning Watch is brought to you by Home and Things. Home and Things, your construction finishes superstore. The Morning Watch, Tuesdays, Wednesdays, and Thursdays. The Morning Watch is on the family station, Love 101.
Stay fully connected with Flow Yard and Road, the home internet and mobile plan to keep up with your life. Sign up today and get fiber fast internet at home and unlimited YouTube, social, talk and text on your mobile for just $4,999 plus GCT. And get a Samsung tablet or phone now for only $499 plus GCT. Flow Yard and Road. Stay fully connected. Visit the Flow store to sign up today. Conditions apply.
Holt's Hardware and Supplies for electrical, plumbing, and building items at low prices. Everything you need for the home. Rugs, decorative curtain rods, sheet set, picture frames, indoor and outdoor lights, and more. That's Holt's Hardware, St. John's Road between Ebony and Royal Place, Banishtown, St. Catherine. Telephone 876-648-7166 or 876-648-7017. Holt's Hardware, the leader in electrical and building supplies.
Educom does it again with the mega car loan sale. 100% financing, interest rate of 6.95% and up to 10 years to repay. Hurry now and visit any of our 9 branches. Call Educom at 876-926-6973 or WhatsApp 876-559-7575 for more info. Educom Cooperative Credit Union Limited. Value through service.
Welcome back to the Morning Watch. Thanks for staying with us. I'm your host, Dylan Toussaint. Let's now look at the newspapers to see what Jamaicans and others are saying and doing in the Observer. Suspected mastermind behind beryllium attack, nabbed. And also police seeking woman seen on CCTV with abducted 8-year-old. In the Gleaner, video footage show Daniel and mystery woman in St. Andrew. And of course, our condolences to the family and relatives of Daniel. Also in the Gleaner, Jamaica hack heightens concerns over security of nation's digital infrastructure. And also in Loop News, at a glance, laws in the Caribbean region that criminalize gay sex. And then finally, in the Loop News, Corrections Executive, Reverend Orville Moore, died from strangulation. Condolences to his family, relatives as well. Coming up next, we'll read some of the feedback from our social media question. What would be one of the conditions you would include in the job description for elected representatives. What would be one of the conditions you'd include in the job description for elected representatives? We're asking you to leave a comment on our Facebook page and YouTube channel, Love 101 FM Jamaica, or WhatsApp 876-997-3125. We'll be right back.
This week on The Rock, we'll look at the miracles that all have to do with water, like Jesus turning water to wine and Jesus walking on water. Tuesday, June 13 on The Rock, join host Bishop Harold Steve Blair and guest Reverend Christopher Broadburn as they discuss the topic Miracles of the Bible, Water Wonders. That's The Rock, Tuesday, June 13 at 10 a.m. here on the family station Love 101, celebrating 30 years of music, family, and love.
Get ready for another inspiring show this Testimony Tuesday inside Alive, 1 to 5, June 13, packed with inspirational stories and Alan flavored music. 1:45, we bring you the Ranger segment size, Listener's Big Edition. Stick around for Prayer Blast at 2 o'clock as we ring in the prayer bells of heaven. 2:15 inside the evidence, we share with you another powerhouse testimony boasting about the power of God. Then at 3 p.m. we go behind the pulpit with pastor and counselor of the Word of His Grace Christian Fellowship Healing Center, Pastor Ainsworth Stewart. All this and more will come alive 1 p.m. to 5 p.m. June 13 with me, Sarah and the Chirpy One on the family station Love 101, celebrating 30 years of music, family, and love.
What a way things are heat up. Ooh, and I can't wait for the road this summer. Oh yes, folks, summer's hot, and so is the I Love Summer Road Tour. We are counting down the weeks to the minutes, even the seconds we are count, and we're making sure it will be fun galore. So catch your vibes and put on your fun face. I Love Summer is coming to take over the place. I Love Summer coming to a town near you. This Jamaican summer going nice to see. I Love 101 summer event.
Come with us as we explore 30 days through the world with love in the month of June. We will be sharing excerpts from 30 days in the world. What a journey it will be.
Welcome back to the Morning Watch. Thanks for staying with us. I'm your host, Dylan Toussaint. Let's now join Jokal for a look at how our Facebook, YouTube, and WhatsApp friends answered today's question. What would be one of the conditions you'd include in the job description for elected representatives? Jokal?
All right, so we do have some responses here. I do have one. Well, I have a voice note actually. I'm going to play that voice note right now. This one is by Phyllis, and Phyllis is in St. Thomas. Let's hear what she's saying today.
Morning, Brother Jokal. Well, I think one of the job description I would like to say to our parliamentarians, be there for the people. Just like when you are going to campaign in election, just be there for the people.
And that is what Phyllis in St. Thomas is saying. Jerome from Spanish Town says, good morning. This shows that they really need something for guidance and accountability. I'm yet to hear the reasoning regarding a job description for parliamentarians. Then he says, we know that they are doing some amount of work, but it's just to keep them relevant. I believe some are not pulling their weight, making it bad for the others who are actually putting in the work. And that is what we have here so far on WhatsApp.
Okay. All right. Thank you very much for those responses. And the discussion undoubtedly will continue. Now, as we segue into the second watch, in Jamaica, there is a visible reduction in the number of persons wearing masks. Other measures to curb the spread of the COVID-19 virus seem to have been greatly relaxed as well. But last week, the Gleaner reported that there was a COVID-19 outbreak at a geriatric hospital in Barbados, leaving many persons stunned and wondering, is COVID still a keep? Well, to discuss this matter, we have joining us this morning, we have Dr. Garth Rattray, family doctor and managing director of Caduceus, I don't know if I'm pronouncing it correctly, Limited. Do we also have Dr. Whyte online? Oh, no. Okay. So far we have only Dr. Garth Rattray, I believe. Good morning, sir.
Good morning, sir. How are you?
I am well. How are you?
Well, I'm hanging in there, sir. Thanks.
Good to have you on. We are hoping to be joined by Dr. Whyte.
Yes.
Soon. Yes. Now, Dr. Rattray, what are your opening thoughts on the report coming out of Barbados, that outbreak, quote unquote, in the geriatric ward?
Okay. Well, COVID is not really gone. It's just that the strain that we have now is very mild compared to the other one we had before. And so there will be occasional outbreaks, especially among people in a group, I can call a cluster. So like in a nursing home or hospital ward or even household, you get outbreaks there. Usually it's confined to those people there. It's in the community generally. And I should just tell you that whatever you see coming out as the number of people that's positive, it is far, 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 far less than what's going on in society. But as you know, most people don't have any symptoms. I mean, this one is mild, and people are calling it flu. There is a flu going around, but nobody knows which is which. So you will have outbreaks from now and again. Not surprising. I expect it to happen.
Yes. Still there, Dr. Rattray?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, go ahead. You finished?
Yes, so I expect these things to happen because COVID is not gone. It's just that it is a milder strain. And there are a lot of people now who have natural immunity. So you won't get as bad, like people getting very sick, hospitalized, and so on. So it's not going to go away. It's going to become, at some point, an endemic, which means that it will be around here like the regular flu, but it will never just vanish forever. But so in other words, the answer to the question is that I expect to get outbreaks in clusters every now and again. But that's quite natural.
Interesting. I gather we now have Dr. Donovan Whyte on. Good morning, Dr. Whyte.
Yes, sir. Good morning. How are you doing?
I'm well. How are you?
I'm good. Giving thanks.
Great. Dr. Whyte is an alternative medicine practitioner. Your opening thought in regards to the report coming out of Barbados with that outbreak at the geriatric ward, COVID.
I have no idea about it. I'm hearing it for the first time. What happened?
Yeah, they say that outbreak, COVID outbreak here. Okay. And persons have been saying, wow, never know that that's still happening in terms of outbreak.
Well, I didn't know about that. So I really couldn't give me much of a comment about it.
Yes. But all right, in terms of the COVID still a keep type of thing, there are persons who are wondering if that's a reality. You want to share your thoughts on that?
All right. If you notice, through Jamaica, you hardly see any mask anymore. Parties are going on. People are gathering in large numbers. So all of the restrictions that were in place for COVID have disappeared.
Tell you what, Dr. Whyte. Tell you what's going to stick up in right here. We're up on a break. We'll be right back.
Sardine for the chef and the making up. Follow the pan with pepper, better the winner. Shop on supermarkets, everybody
sardines, follow the better flavor.
The time is
7:45. This is exactly what I need.
CNWJ Credit Union has a lifestyle loan. Access your CNWJ CCU lifestyle loan anytime you need it. Whatever your reason, emergencies, special occasions, consolidated debt, or everyday expenses. Your lifestyle, your choice. Approval within 24 hours. Apply today. Get a CNWJ Credit Union loan. It's just what you need. Discover the benefits of belonging.
Holt Hardware and Supplies for electrical, plumbing, and building items at low prices. Everything you need for the home. Rugs, decorative curtain rods, sheet set, picture frames, indoor and outdoor lights, and more. That's Holt's Hardware, St. John's Road between Ebony and Royal Place, Spanish Town, St. Catherine. Telephone 876-648-7166 or 876-648-7017. Holt's Hardware, the leader in electrical and building supplies.
Educom does it again with the mega car loan sale. 100% financing, interest rate of 6.95% and up to 10 years to repay. Hurry now and visit any of our 9 branches. Call Educom at 876-926-6973 or WhatsApp 876-559-7575 for more info. Educom Cooperative Credit Union Limited. Value through service.
Love 101 invites you to listen to Encounter, presented by the Jamaica Association of Full Gospel Churches, Thursdays at 10 p.m. Every first Thursday, listen for words of upliftment from the Lighthouse Assembly with Bishop Rowan Edwards. Every second Thursday at 10 p.m., listen for a word of encouragement from Burgess Ministries International. That's Women of God in Service with Reverend Dr. Elaine Richards. Every third Thursday, receive words of strength and power from Praise Deliverance Ministry with Senior Pastor Fitzroy Carr. Every fourth Thursday, Reverend Leonie Samuels of the Richmond New Testament Church of God in St. Mary shares words of hope. For fifth Thursdays, it's words of inspiration from the New United Bible Way Church of God with Reverend Dr. Jasmine Brown. That's Encounter, presented by the Jamaica Association of Full Gospel Churches every Thursday at 10 p.m. right here on the family station, Love 101.
From generation to generation, Jamaicans have depended on JAMP Bank to make the pride and joy of providing a safe place for their families possible. Now, with no processing fees and no down payment mortgage options, you can open the door to your own sweet home, a legacy to hand to your next generation. Visit jmbank.com to get pre-approved today. JAMP Bank will help you find a way.
Welcome back to the Morning Watch. Thanks for staying with us. I'm your host, Dylan Toussaint, and in this the second watch, we're examining the question, is COVID still a key? And in so we have online Dr. Garth Rattray, a family doctor, and Dr. Donovan Whyte, alternative medicine practitioner. Before the break, Dr. Whyte, you are giving us your opening salvo in regards to this whole matter of COVID still a key. Go ahead, sir.
Yeah, as I was saying, lots of things have been said about COVID, and a lot of what was said was really what you heard in the news. And you can hear the news about the number of deaths, the COVID problem, etc., etc. And then all of a sudden, none of this is going on. No mask wearing, none of the restrictions that were going on. And everything is back to normal. Yet there were no explanations from the people who were giving all of these reports earlier on. So I'm still at a loss what really is happening.
Dr. Whyte?
Yes, sir.
Right. You're still at a loss for the reasons. I'm not sure I understand what is
really happening, because remember there was a time we were getting updates from the Ministry of Health.
Yes.
From the government like 2, 3, 4 times per day.
Right.
And then all of a sudden there's nothing happening, and there's none of the restrictions that were there before are now in place.
So you're wondering, what is that saying? The abruptness of it. What is going on that saying? That's what you're saying?
Yeah, I'm saying that the whole thing just seems to have died out without any official sanctioning, and yet there is no official pronouncement about the cessation of these measures.
Yeah. Dr. Rattray, you want to respond to that, if possible?
Yes. Well, pandemics mean that the thing is everywhere, and then after a while, it will reduce itself to the point where, as I said before, it becomes an endemic, which means that it just stays in the area at a very low grade, flares up every now and again. So you expect that at some point it will get to the stage where it is not considered an emergency anymore, and so people will stop being restricted, because what they find is that it is such that there's so much immunity around now that even if people get it, it's not a very severe. Plus, very importantly, this particular strain is not a dangerous one. And it also tells you that if it mutates and we start back all over again, hopefully it does not. Right? So right now, it is down to the point where at an emergency, you can do what you want. If you want a personal choice, mask or not, go where you want to go, because it's not killing. In fact, checking on the Ministry of Health side, nobody died from it recently. And I've seen before, just to remind you that it is going around, just that it's not as severe. I have a family of patients who got ill with quote-unquote the flu. One got tested, and it was COVID. We said and said, oh, you have COVID, we have the flu. You understand? Right? So it's there, but it's at a very low grade. It's not considered dangerous. But people who are elderly, 65 and above, especially very elderly, which is above 70, they should still be careful, because their immune system is not as good. And people like Dr. Donovan Whyte, he will tell you that what you need now is to keep healthy and have your immune system at tip-top shape, which is what he does best, right? So people like him, people who keep us healthy through this phase of COVID.
But Dr. Rattray, you mentioned persons are no longer dying from COVID. Did I hear you correctly?
Nobody in Jamaica died recently from COVID. In Jamaica here. Yeah, nobody. It's zero recently. Yeah,
what's the distinction? I mean, how you know, because if somebody has COVID, is hospitalized and subsequently dies,
yes,
or shortly after dies, how you link, because first time they would link that death with COVID. Why don't we link it with COVID now?
Well, first of all, they get diagnosed with COVID by doing the test. And if it's positive, then that's COVID. And then you have things that COVID can do to you, right? It can do, there's a long list, not really relevant here. So people who get COVID and die from the complications of COVID, it has happened here in Jamaica for quite a while, has not happened here. It's happening abroad still, in little spots, but in Jamaica so far recently, nobody has died because they got COVID and died from the complications of COVID.
Sorry, Dr. Whyte, what's your take? Sorry.
I am acting like literally as I shouldn't say as a non-medical person, but what really is the positive test being used for COVID? I'm at a loss as to where we got a test for COVID. A PCR test is not diagnostic of anything. A PCR test can be positive for anything you want it to be positive for. So what is the definitive test for COVID? I think we have been duped.
We've been what, Dr. Whyte?
Duped.
Oh, into what?
With the whole testing for COVID. Because there's really no positive test for COVID.
Dr. Rattray, is that so?
Well, the way I know it, and the way is that PCR is a term used when you multiply something that you can look at. So for instance, you can get PCR tests for gonorrhea, for instance, and other things. So you get a sample and you want to multiply it so you can test it properly. And there is a PCR test for COVID, and for specific for COVID, right? And so if it's positive, then it's okay, you have COVID. So I'm saying that it's used for many, many things. Gonorrhea, chlamydia, there are things you can use PCR for. It's called polymerase chain reaction. So you get a small little DNA, it's too small to do anything, so you multiply it as a PCR, and you can look at it, and that's how you know it's COVID or not. But the trick is that, but you can have COVID and die from something else. But there are certain things COVID can do to you, and people say the person died from the complications of COVID. You understand what I mean? Because COVID itself is like HIV. HIV doesn't kill you. What it does to your sister kills you. But COVID itself can cause other problems, which kills people, which are you, people. So the way I know it is that there is a test for COVID. It's positive, and the person comes to hospital and they have the complications that COVID can cause and die from it. And say this person died from COVID. Complications.
Dr. Whyte, what should we do or not do now in this present environment? You mentioned earlier that you thought you had been duped.
I think the whole COVID thing was a media heist more than anything else. But I recommend that patients, people in general, maintain a healthy lifestyle that does not weaken their immune system. And if you find yourself being challenged, there are simple things you can do to boost your immune system. But the things that can be done and that are recommended, and not about taking a vaccine. The vaccine was part of the worst mistake we ever made in all of this COVID thing. So that's again, Dr. Whyte, vaccine is what? Vaccine. The vaccine was part of the worst decision where the COVID thing is concerned. Wow. Because the amount of complications that have arisen for the vaccine are so tremendous that they're not. Probably that is why everybody has shut up. No, nobody's reporting anything anymore.
So we should boost our immune system. Yeah, but we should not take any booster since the vaccine.
The boosters have been they have been a disaster. People have taken the boosters. So many people have died as a result of taking these vaccines. So many people have been immunologically challenged as a result of taking the vaccine. But when they die, they don't relate that to COVID at all. They don't relate it to COVID or the COVID vaccine.
Yeah. Dr. Rattray, I will not stop Dr. Whyte saying there, man. This has been a disaster. The vaccine is the worst decision.
Well, everybody has their opinions, sir. So, Dr. Whyte has his opinion. I won't share that opinion with him, but that's his opinion. So, I have to respect it.
So should we be taking boosters still from your perspective, Dr. Rattray?
Okay, well, let me say something. Like I said before, people who are elderly. First of all, the vaccine wasn't perfect. It had a lot of flaws, and it wasn't ready. It's not the right vaccine. But what is happening? People are dying in droves, millions. So you always have to weigh the benefits and risks of anything you do. You know that. If you're going to go to the studio, you have to say, well, I'm going to go in a car. Will I crash? Right, you go to the same to the vaccine. You think to yourself, okay, it has benefits and it might have risks, and it does save lives because it did make it less severe. It didn't stop the thing from coming on or from being transmitted, but it did make it less severe. Now, I would say for people, if you ask me, do I recommend vaccines to everybody now? I would say no. But there is a bivalent vaccine around, which is for elderly people who are at great risk. So the question is it worth the risk? There you go again. So it's an individual choice, right? I never did agree with making vaccines mandatory. I never did agree with it. Now it's even worse. So it's an individual choice for risk management. But like I said, if they're not perfect, I would not say they kill off people more than COVID, because I've seen a lot in the fight with COVID. You understand what I mean? And I would agree with that statement. But now here we are. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'm so sorry. I just realized that took a little bit of time.
Oh, well, I'm sorry. Next time.
Yes. We want to thank you both for joining us. Spirited, interesting discussion on the matter.
And of course, both of you don't agree with a couple of things there, but so lifestyle, eh?
Unexpected.
All right, have a safe day, gentlemen.
Okay, all the best. Take care. Bye-bye.
Thank you, listeners, for being with us. Join us again tomorrow as we continue to set the stage for discussion of topical and controversial issues. For information or get copies of this program, call our production department at 876-968-9596-7. This has been the Morning Watch. Thanks for producer Kathy Gale and our guest. I'm Dylan Toussaint. Hand you back to Love in the Morning with Calder.
The Morning Watch was brought to you by Holt's Hardware and Supplies, the leader in electrical building and everything for the home.